For 50 years, one cat has carried a single, chilling title, the predator long believed to have hunted human ancestors. A false sabertooth that could weigh as much as a grown man, built to drag an upright ape into the dark. But when Julia lee-thorp read the chemistry locked inside its teeth, the story cracked open. The most famous human hunter in the fossil record may have barely touched us, and what that means is worse. Meet the accused, Dinofelis. The name means terrible cat. It was not the biggest predator of Pliocene Africa, and that is exactly why it was dangerous. The largest individuals weighed close to 90 kilograms, jaguar-sized, but built lower, heavier, denser. Serge Lejeune and Claudia Roth, measuring its bones, landed on a range from 31 to nearly 88 kilograms. Its canines were the giveaway, longer and flatter than any lion's, shorter than a true saber-tooth's, a compromise weapon. It could not outrun anything. Its forelimbs were thick enough to pin struggling prey to the ground. This was an ambush specialist that dropped from cover, and in the forests it haunted, one kind of prey had almost no defense. The other contender walked on two legs, Australopithecus, Paranthropus, early Homo, species that evolutionary scientists consider possible human ancestors. Picture yourself there, 1.5 meters tall, no claws, no fangs, no speed, sleeping in trees because the ground at night belonged to things with teeth. Against a 90-kilogram cat, an unarmed hominid was not a rival, it was a meal. And the fossil caves of South Africa are full of them. Australopithecus, bones tumbled together with the very cats that may have eaten them, sealed in stone for 2 million years. For decades, those jumbled death piles pointed at one obvious suspect, but the caves had been telling investigators the wrong story.
Here is the evidence that built the legend. In the Sterkfontein Valley, the place we now call the Cradle of Humanity, paleontologist C.K. Brain spent decades reading the bones of Swartkrans cave like a crime scene. He found hominid skulls with neat, paired punctures driven through the bone. 2 holes, perfectly spaced, the exact signature of a big cat clamping a skull in its jaws. And Dinofelis fossils sat in the same deposits, its canine spacing close enough to match. The picture wrote itself, the terrible cat dropping from the branches onto the ape below. It is a clean, terrifying story. There is just one problem with it. The spacing was suggestive, but spacing is not a confession. And one skull was about to point somewhere else. That skull is SK54, a young hominid, the back of its cranium pierced by 2 holes. When Brain measured them, they did not fit Dinofelis. They fit the lower canines of a leopard. Then the evidence went molecular. Julia lee-thorp with Francis Thackeray and Nicolaus van der Merwe drilled samples from the fossil teeth themselves. Carbon locked in tooth enamel records what an animal ate, and it cannot lie. They read the diets of every predator in that cave, leopard, Meganterion, and Dinofelis together. Right now, a leopard in a tree above you carries the same chemical signature they were hunting for, and Dinofelis did not match it. The verdict the chemistry returned: the leopard's diet was full of primates. Meganterion's leaned toward them too. Dinofelis ate grazers, grass eaters, antelope, the herd animals of open country, not us. Most people talk about Dinofelis as the killer. I think the truer story is the one that should frighten you more. Early hominins were not stalked by a single terrible cat. They lived inside a whole guild of predators that saw an upright ape as food. And the famous one may have been the least of their problems. The acquittal of Dinofelis is not relief. It is the discovery of how many other things were hunting early hominins.
So what happened to the terrible cat that was never quite the monster we made it? For nearly 4 million years, Dinofelis was a global success, ranging from Africa to Eurasia and North America, an ambush hunter wherever forests stood. That was the catch. Dinofelis was built for forest and dense cover. As Africa dried and the woodlands broke apart into open savanna, the shadows it depended on thinned out. The faster, adaptable cats of the modern world, true lions, true leopards, inherited the open ground. Around 1 million years ago, the terrible cat ran out of darkness to hunt from. The apes it shared that world with did the opposite. They came down out of the trees, spread into the open, and kept their eyes on the horizon. According to evolutionary theory, our species emerged from a world shaped by those pressures. But run the experiment forward, put Dinofelis back, drop 90 kilograms of silent ambush into a world of soft, unarmed humans who forgot what it means to be prey. We don't sleep in branches anymore. We don't scan the canopy. The one cat the chemistry let off the hook was still built, body and bone, to take us, and nothing about us would see it coming. Evolution never stopped building ambush predators. The cats in the long grass today are smarter, faster, and closer than the one we just cleared. This channel tracks that machinery still running, the rise of the next apex hunter every week, written in fresh bone. We named it the cat that hunted humans. The chemistry says it mostly didn't. The fossils say a dozen other things did. Fossil evidence suggests that survival against predators helped shape the story of early hominins.